Welcome. This is the Ag Engineering Podcast, where we talk tools, tips, and techniques to improve the sustainability of your farm. I am your host, Andy Chamberlain from the University of Vermont Extension, and this podcast is supported by Northeast SARE, providing grants and education to advance innovation in sustainable agriculture. We're trying to improve the industry by chatting with farmers and getting their input on tools, tips, or techniques that have changed the way they farm for good. Many of these practices affect multiple areas of the farm. Whether it be environmentally, emotionally, physically, or financially, we share the knowledge to promote sustainable agriculture, lifestyle, and business. Thanks for having a listen. Now, let's get started. Today's episode comes to you from Thorndike, Maine, where we interview Phoenix O'Brien of Hallbrook Farm. It's his fourth season on this farm, but he's been in agriculture the last 7. He's growing in the zone 5B and on about 10 acres. 100% wholesale to supermarkets and grocery stores. Their farm is bringing in approximately $225,000 in gross sales. Phoenix, welcome to the show.
Hello.
So if you could describe your farm a little bit in one sentence, what would you say?
We are a small-scale vegetable farm growing produce to sell to supermarkets and small grocery stores.
So today we wanted to talk a little bit about high tunnels. You've got a couple of them going up on your farm, so I was hoping you would share your favorite ones, why you chose them, and what you like about them. So what high tunnel have you choose to invest in?
So we've got 3 now. We're scheduled to put 2 more up, 30 by 96. They're all NRCS projects. The first one that we put up was a Rimol that, we like that one quite a bit. Tall posted, and we didn't put any circulator fans or anything in that one, but installation was pretty easy. The instructions super clear. They lay out all the markings on them. They, pretty nice hardware. I thought they went up pretty well. And then the other 2 we set up are this other company. My neighbor put one up. Two separate neighbors each put one up. And that's the Beiler's greenhouse structures. They're out of Pennsylvania. Some Amish folks building those. And I like those pretty good as well. I think for in terms of a value, the price is a little better on them, which is why I had initially gone with them. But, we've compared to the other ones that I've seen or the other ones we put up. I also have a small Ledgewood, I guess. That's our seedling house. But, the big thing is just these things are rugged built. The bows are, I forget what the exact dimensions are, but they're like 2.1 inches thick. It's super heavy duty pipe, and the trussing is, the cross tie is, I think they're like 21 feet long, and then got some bracing back up to the bow. They're super, super heavy duty. I don't even know if you'd need to shovel them in the winter. The fellow I was talking to, he said they only had one where they know the guy where they collapsed on them, and that was kind of a that was an older style they were manufacturing. And the guy got like 4 snowstorms in a row in upstate New York. But yeah, they were a rugged house at a good value for sure.
Was that delivered, or did you have to load up a trailer to go get it?
They delivered it, and I got a deal on that one because on the 2 of them, they were sending a guy. There was a guy coming up here empty to fetch something back down that way. So I think I got a really good deal on that. I think I gave $800 to get 2 of them, 2 30 by 96 houses trucked clear from Lancaster County to Thorndike, Maine. So
yeah, it doesn't sound too bad.
No, that was I think even still for up to here, I think like the last time he quoted me, it was like $1,200.
Yeah, wow.
Which you're pretty much filling a 28-foot trailer.
Did you do the assembly and build all yourself?
We did. And like I was saying, that was the nice thing about the Rimols is that they pre-mark everything. Those Beilers, while they are a little cheaper, there were some corners cut or whatever. I guess they just expect if you can grow tomatoes, you can put a high tunnel up. There's no markings or anything. You have to build a jig on the ground to get your bows all lined up right, which actually makes for very consistent height, and you look through the tunnel, your cross ties and your trussing is all set up same, which is really nice. Certainly a little bit more work, but yeah. So we did everything, pounded the posts and all that, and they go up fairly quick.
Yeah, well, when you're on high tunnel number 3, I think you kind of got the rhythm down at that point.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked about cost. We've talked about some differences between them. We talked about how you had to make a jig. Is there anything that you'd recommend others do that maybe you had to do to install these, or what you...
Yeah, we installed. Well, the place we installed them, I had a guy come in with a bulldozer and just, flatten the spot, or they were level side to side. I recommend anybody do them. We put up we put them up with the tall posts. I think our posts are 7.5 feet long. Total length, and I think we have I forget, it's 4 feet sticking out of the ground. But as I was saying, the piece of ground they lay on isn't completely level, so the posts are in deeper on one side than the other, just so the tops are all the same. The tops of the posts are all at the same height. The peak of the greenhouse is level, but and then we just ran a baseboard at level, starting at the lowest post, but then when you get out to the end where the ground is actually lower, you have a gap between your soil and the baseboard. We fastened polycarbonate in there, which it's fairly attractive, one, but then two, it just it created a good seal. Not as good as probably burying 2-inch foam all the way around the tunnel, but I think it'll certainly provide some amount of frost protection coming through. Forget where I was going with that exactly, but yeah, the basic stuff. I know some people, a lot of the high tunnels when I was working on farms all had wooden baseboards and wooden components, which I'm kind of wooden hip boards. I'm certainly of the opinion of getting rid of all the wood. Seems like the way to go. I don't know. I don't feel like the cost in the long run. I don't think you're saving that much, especially when you're at the risk of losing plastic or even losing tunnels. If baseboards fail on you or something, or hip boards fail. That seems to be the real common one. I always remember, you go out there and the stuff's coming loose at the hip boards that are all half rotted away. Yeah, and just two, the two other ones we put up, we put in all the ventilation controls. We didn't have the money for the automatic roll-up sides, but definitely, any amount of, ventilation that you can't afford seems like a good way to go.
Yeah, the more automation, the better, right?
Yeah. Just to, in creating a good growing environment for your stuff that's in there, it makes a big difference, I think. And the double layer poly too. I went with that on those, and I don't think I'd ever put single layer poly on again.
What do you find that works best for? Why do you like it so much?
Alone just resisting the wind. We get high winds up here, as I'm sure they do everywhere else in the world. Those two layers, when they're inflated, being taut, the wind just kind of goes over them. It doesn't catch it and flap it all around like it does on a single layer. And two, I think it regulates temperature both ways. It certainly keeps it cooler in those tunnels in the summer, just the way it diffuses the light, as well as holding the heat in on the cool nights and stuff. And the condensation is the other thing in the wintertime. I noticed that on our single layer poly house that the whatever moisture is in there will just freeze and really blocks your light. Where on a double layer, that either exists quite a bit less because of the, I don't know, whatever it is, that air gap. You don't get that same condensation, but then too, it melts off a lot quicker in the cold months.
Yeah, those are a lot of benefits, I'd say, for sure.
Yeah, no, it's world of difference, really.
I'm looking at one of your pictures you shared, and it looks like you're using a flatbed wagon with ladders on it as portable scaffolding. That looks like that worked pretty well.
Oh yeah, that's a good trick. That's a thing. That's definitely a thing to do for sure. I mean, I don't know how it. It's definitely safer than the bucket of a tractor, but you can put all your tools and materials on there and roll it right through, and then you've got your height. So you're on not as tall of a ladder, and we just have that hooked right to the tractor and pull it right on through. Pretty efficient way for putting on your ridge pole and all your purlins and stuff and hanging fans.
And it's probably more stable too because your ladder's now on a deck, not on soft dirt, so that's a little safer probably.
Yeah, no, without a doubt, you definitely have a much, way better working, you just have a portable working surface. You got a hard surface if you drop tools or you drop hardware and stuff. You got your box of hardware right with you. You're not working in the muck and the mud and the dirt, griming up all the threads on all those pieces of hardware.
That's true. And if you do need to get down to the bottom of the ladder to get hardware or whatever, you're already 3 feet off the ground, so that probably saves some time too. You're not going all the way down.
Yeah. No, we liked that a lot.
I see in one of your tunnels you decided to put it over a concrete slab. What was your reasoning for doing that?
Oh yeah, that's our seedling house, and that was a frame that was actually just given to us, which is why we decided we could spend the extra money on the slab. But that's we put radiant heat in that slab. We haven't installed the wood boiler yet, but the plan is to put either a wood boiler or a pellet boiler in there for radiant heat. And then, we're growing a lot of 3 acres of winter squash this year, so we're planning on curing that all in there. So the purpose of the slab was just for material handling, to pick right into bulk bins and then wheel it in there. But
for curing.
It's proved. Yeah, for curing, to just be able to, use a forklift or a pallet jack to just roll the stuff right in there, create a good curing environment.
Yeah, dry, clean.
Dry, clean. You turn the heater on, turn the fans on, pull the moisture right out, turn the heat back on, and I mean, it's proved awesome just for everything. Like, think about working on other people's farms and how much time you spend lugging stuff in and around tunnels, or in the seedling house. I mean, moving a lot of soil and trays and everything. You've got a hard surface to work on. You can put stuff on wheels pretty easy.
Do you find it keeps the space cleaner because the dirt and things are on dollies and carts, or do you find it just easier to clean up because it's a hard surface to go back to?
Yeah, easier to clean up for sure. I mean, you can, we've got floor drains in there. You can spray the dirt off into the drain or sweep it up, and it's nice just to have that space for whatever, you've got a good hard surface, well-lit surface to work on, for other projects, just having that when it's not in use, right now there's not that many seedlings in there.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But you've got that space. I mean, we, for doing whatever and being able to roll equipment around.
Yeah, covered space with good floor, dry area.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, even just like our seedling table in there is on wheels if we need to move it and rearrange. All that. I mean, it was
nice.
Definitely more of a cost, but I think well worth it in the preserving us and our workers' bodies and getting stuff done efficiently.
You remember approximately what it cost to do that floor?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't cheap between when we had to get site work done anyway, just to, like I say, we got hilly ground, but I think all said and done, we poured the slab ourselves. I think we were total around $5,000.
Does that include the heat pipes and all that too?
Yeah, I haven't. There's definitely going to be more money in like the boiler itself and all the manifolds and circulator system, but the PEX piping itself is very cheap.
Yeah.
But the insulation, that alone, we put 2-inch foam down in the floor. I think that was like $1,200.
All good in the long run.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I do not regret doing that one bit. I mean, that was it just makes for a much more useful space. Obviously, a lot more money up front. Obviously, a lot easier just to roll some landscape fabric down on the dirt and go for it. But
have you cured squash in there yet, or is it still new?
No, this will be its maiden voyage. I can follow back up with you on that, but this fall time will be it.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious how well that works out. It sounds to me like it would work great. So,
yeah, in theory, it's amazing.
It'll be exciting to see.
We'll see
if your quality improves from the way you did it before and stuff like that. That's where you could really get some financial kickback from that too, I bet.
Yeah.
Quick, consistent cure. Well, are there any other things about your high tunnels that we didn't talk about you'd like to share?
Not that I can think of. I think you don't have any more questions. I think we got that one pretty well hammered out.
Yeah, I think so. All right. Well, thanks for sharing your high tunnel setup and how you use them on your farm.
Yeah, no problem.
Cool. Well, if others want to follow up with you and see what you're doing, how should they do that?
Email is a good way to get in touch. Probably the best way.
And you're on social media too?
Yeah, we are on Instagram at Holbrook Farm, Maine. That would be another way to get in touch.
Awesome. Well, sounds good. Thanks for being on the show.
Oh, no problem.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you learned something today or plan to make a change on your farm, let me know. I'd love to receive any feedback you have. Just click the link in the description to submit the form. It will help the future of this podcast to be a resource that is helpful for you. And while you're at it, I hope you go ahead and subscribe, share this with a friend, or leave a comment. And if you want more information, check out the show notes on our website at agengpodcast.com. That's agengpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and I hope you have a great day.
The proceeding has been a production of University of Vermont Extension. For more information on Extension, log on to www.uvm.edu/extension.